Welcome back, everybody, to the Retro Blood as we continue this horrifying vampiric style month for the Retro Blood, talking all about deadly blood-sucking creatures, talking funeral home schemers.
Yep.
Talking all the things that go bump in the night with deadly fangs, because we are continuing 1980s vampiric month part 2. If y'all like really grainy films that you could apparently rent for $2 from Amazon Prime, which is too much already,
$2
for the style film. If y'all like funeral home vampires who trick dead people to die more so they can drink their blood, if y'all like a guy named Ted who figures out the conspiracy that they were doing in this town, and if you like a girl named Maria whose mom turns into what I quoted in my notes, Vamp Mom. If y'all like Vamp Moms, then this is the review for you, brother, because the Retro Blood is talking all about Dracula's Last Rites. J.H. Alison, James Conn, what's happening, Alison? How's your stay at the vampiric funeral home of the deceased, supposedly?
Dude, what the fuck? Like, so at first I was mad because I was mad at you for picking this movie, and then I remembered that I picked it.
Yeah, you picked it.
I'm like, holy fuck, what the fuck was this? Like, I'm gonna have to have a fucking drink just to talk about this goddamn thing. I'm gonna break my high life out here.
You have now officially done the first beer on the Retro Blood live video. All right.
Yeah, I had to have something to get through this shit. Like,
I got me some red. Okay, let me show it on here. I got me some red blood over here. That's Gatorade. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God.
This is something.
This was something else. Like, I should have known. Like when I went to Amazon Prime to get it, because we rented it for $2. Because I almost bought it for $5. Like, holy fuck! I'm so glad I didn't spend $5 on this piece of shit. But I just bought it in standard definition for $1.99, and like that was about all of this that I wanted. I appreciate what they were doing, though. By the time I got to the end of it, I appreciated it a little bit better. But like, oh my God, like there's so much to say and so little to say.
Well, I think we can both agree that I think the actual like concept was pretty good for the film. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you got like these vampires, right? And they don't necessarily want to be like, you know, creatures of the night going out there and like looking for like their food and stuff. So, hey, why don't we open up a fucking funeral home? And what we'll do is we'll bribe the sheriff, who apparently is a vampire too. Mm-hmm. And we'll have like this like vampire ring, I guess, a scheme ring, where we'll find dead bodies, and we'll use that for our food and power. And they had a doctor too. I mean, this whole town was like in on it. Like the major thing. I'm surprised there wasn't a school teacher vampire on here.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I did like that it was, to me, it seemed like a kind of homage to the 1940s Universal horror movies in a way. Yeah. Like it reminds me of, I believe it's Son of Dracula with John Carradine. Like it reminds me of that, which is a movie that I love. Did not love this, but you know, it could have been, I don't know. Like I see what they were trying to do. It was just a chore to fucking watch.
Bro, this was a chore. Like I think the biggest thing about this one too is like it was really boring.
Oh my God. You know, like nothing happened in almost the entire movie. And
they did that thing which I don't mind. Okay, but I don't think they did it right. They would like, they would show like a side of a building. Yeah, and it felt like it was only for maybe like 2 minutes, but it felt like 30 minutes. Like, just get on with it. Okay, just let's go.
Yeah, this thing was only 85 minutes long, and I felt like I'd been watching it fucking all night.
I know, but
there's like 10 minutes of story in this. But anyway, This might be the shortest retro blood ever.
Was there some story? I don't know. We're about to find that out. And you can find it all with us too. Here on the Retro Blood as I fix my mic over here. That seems to want to be leaning.
Yeah.
All right. What happens? Let me see if I can pop it up like this really quick. Come on now. Trying to get me a stand.
I was about to say you need to get a real stand. I have a microphone stand.
Well, this is my traveling one, so I gotta
because you're on the road this week.
I'm on the road, brother. You could say, since I'm on the road this month, maybe what I'm doing is I am the modern day Van Helsing, and I'm going to different funeral homes to see if there's some vampiric scheming going on over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm working out hard for everybody here.
You are the modern day Van Helsing.
I'm going to make sure Lacard isn't up to his old tricks again, brother.
Lacard. I have a lot to say about that when we get there. Lacard. What the fuck?
But everybody, like every Retro Blood, we talk about what is going on in the world of the pro wrestling, the metal music. Because since we're vampire hunters technically now being on this show, you know what I mean? Yeah. We like to, with finding vampires and stuff, we like to give some people some options. You know what I mean? We don't only want to go out and watch these vampiric movies. We want to see what's happening for like a whole weekend. So, you know what I mean? So why don't we talk about two of our favorite things out there in this world, which would be pro wrestling and metal music around 1980. So just like this movie, not a whole lot was going on.
No, not really. Not really.
So I got a couple of things. I'll go first. Little things with the pro wrestling around this release date. I would say probably the biggest thing that was going on around this particular time was we actually had a NWA World Heavyweight Championship match between Harley Race battling one Mandy Fernandez to a 1 hour time limit draw. There you go.
Do you say Mandy Fernandez?
Yeah, Manny Fernandez.
Manny Fernandez. Okay, I misunderstood. Yeah, so that makes sense. Manny Fernandez versus So Harley Race. Sorry. So Harley Race was like the biggest. He was probably like the biggest wrestler in the world right at this time, right? In America.
Yeah, he would have
big world champion, right?
So kind of. So I believe around this particular time, obviously, like you were saying, Harley Race is probably one of the toughest like world champs at this time, but I believe also around the early 80s too, Bob Backlund. Oh,
true. Yeah.
Also, very, very high up on the ranks of popularity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, me personally, I probably like Harley Race a little better, But, Bob Backlund for his time, that time period, the cookie cutter baby face was like huge around the early parts of the 80s. It wasn't until we started getting like the Jack dudes, what I mean? Like the Hulk Hogan's and the Ultimate Warriors and the Randy Savages. We talked about this before on this podcast. There was like a big shift that kind of happened around like the 84, the 85, where they started getting bigger. Before then, it was all like, the Brunos, the Bob Backlunds, the All-American Story, the All-American Male and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For WWF, NWA was a little different. They usually wanted somebody a little tougher because it was a traveling world champion. And, Harley Race is probably like one of the most respected champions of all time, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it'd be like 3 more years later before we would get the Flair for the Gold, where Ric Flair kind of took over for Harley Race as the world champion, NWA world champion, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And, it's also, too, it's very interesting that my vampire thing doesn't fit in here. I got me a little, see, I come prepared, man.
You do.
Got me a little Dracula. You can see it when it's all, it's getting all crazy now.
Right.
This isn't appearing now. Oh. All right. I'm like this movie, and I'm like this movie right when it hit VHS shelves. It just disappeared.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just like everybody's coming shown to sunlight.
God, what a fuck. We'll get to that part too.
We'll get to this.
All right. So basically, the thing I want to kind of talk about a little bit, which was very heavy during this time, and I'm not sure, like, because I know we know a lot of details doing the show or doing our own research. We know a lot about 80s pro wrestling.
Yeah.
But you talk to an old timer, like, yeah, brother, I want an hour every night, 4 nights a week, brother, plus twice on Sunday. And I was like, like, I can kind of believe that, but I don't think they were going like an hour like every fucking night.
No,
that's
you know what bullshit.
I mean? Like, I mean, this was an hour draw right here. So, but we also too, because obviously we're 2025. When we do an hour match now,
yeah,
it's way different than it could be back in the day, because obviously there's not as much rest holds. There's not, wrestling was a lot slower back then. You know what I mean? The selling was a lot different as well too. So if you watch like an hour long match from the 80s, and then watch one even from like when Sean and Brett did it, it's like completely two different style matches.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they can talk about going for an hour, but they weren't going for an hour like Sean and Brett were going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was like fast paced, like go, 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 go. You know what I mean? That match, that Iron Man match, for the people out there, if you have not watched that Iron Man match between Sean and Brett, that's one of the best matches of all time, in my opinion.
Yes.
Like
now that one, it's a good match, but that's not my favorite one.
Really? What's your favorite hour-long match?
My favorite one was actually the one they had on TV of all places. And that was the Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle 1 hour match on SmackDown.
I don't know if I've seen that.
It's a great one. It's fucking intense, very fantastic, fast paced for two big dudes and stuff. Like, I really enjoyed that match. Even when it had all those commercial breaks, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic one.
Yeah. I really enjoy the Omega Okada hour-long draw.
That one is also really that might be the most celebrated one, I would say.
Yeah.
For wrestling fans, like hardcore wrestling fans that know about it, that's probably like the most. That has to be the most entertaining hour-long match.
It's so good.
It's like, so good. Yeah.
If I were going to show somebody, well, I might not pick an hour-long match to show somebody to introduce them to wrestling, but that Omega Okada hour-long draw, I think, is something that would get people into wrestling if they've never seen it, if they can sit through the whole hour. But there's so much in that. There's so much storytelling. But like those old timers going an hour. Yeah, sure, they went an hour, but they went an hour where they would be on the mat for 5 minutes in a headlock or something like that.
Yes. But, okay, yes, but also too, I'm pretty sure there's some great spots and moments of those hour matches too. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying it was like probably like a little different style. And we still see hour matches to this day. Obviously we had one a couple months back with Ospreay and MJF.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like an official hour-long match. The match just happened to win an hour.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So, but yeah, I mean, like the Hour Man match, I mean, that's still going on today. So that's something that they've kept over time.
True.
I mean, we might have got rid of the tape fist match, but we kept the hour match. At least
we did keep the hour-long match for sure. The Iron Man match is still going.
So, but Alison, I forgot to say the release date too of this movie, March of 1980. Now we don't have an exact date. That's all we got, brother. All right. So, like, where do you think this was released in? Like,
I don't know, man.
Theater? Like, I think it's actually a theater.
I guess it was, because you can't. Back in 1980, you weren't making movies for video, because I mean, video existed, but most people didn't have it. So I'm guessing this was made for theaters, and it showed in like small movie theaters that couldn't get whatever the big movie was at the time. It's March of 1980.
There is some interesting.
Yeah, maybe in May of 1980, if you can't get Empire Strikes Back when it came out, you got Dracula's Last Rites.
There you go.
Oof, Jesus Christ.
So it actually does have an interesting background, which we'll get into.
Okay.
But it's just very interesting that like something like this was played in theaters, and then there's some movies that would come out not even like 6 years later. They're like way better. That would just go straight to home video, which is crazy. So, but Alison, what do we got going on for the metal music? What are we rocking out while we're heading out to with our dates our Mustang and our Cobras. You know what I mean? They had some cool cars at the beginning.
They did some cool cars in this movie. So as you mentioned before, there wasn't a lot going on. I mean, there was like some good albums released, but we've talked about them before. Like Van Halen's "Women and Children First" came out that month, and we've talked about it before. What I chose to talk about tonight is a Canadian band. So Canada does have a history of having some really good hard rock and metal. Anvil is from Canada. Rush is from Canada. So this is another power trio from Canada, not Rush, called Triumph. Triumph was
Wait, they're like, you said they're not. What would you say? They were not.
I said they're not Rush.
They're not.
I said they're a power trio that's not Rush.
So like, is that their band name? Hey guys, we are not Rush, but we're still Canadian power band.
They might as well be. I mean, as longtime listeners know, Rush is one of my favorite bands of all time. So nothing compares to Rush. So I try not to compare things to Rush. But Triumph is a good band, man. They were a power trio. They had like a really progressive rock influence and like a classical music influence. So their like music was like really technical for its time. I mean, they weren't super heavy, but they were like, they were hard rock metal. But that month they released their fourth album called Progressions of Power. And Progressions of Power, I would say, is like definitely high point Triumph. Like, when you go through their career, they started getting big with their third album, Just a Game, and then they followed up with this Progressions of Power. Then did another album the next year called Allied Forces, and they were huge for like a few years there, all the way through 1986. They were a pretty big band, but they could never just break through like Rush did. But like I said, I don't have a ton to say about this band other than, they're just a good power trio from Canada. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to any of this. I know it was kind of short notice when I sent it to you. But did you listen to any of it at all?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
I'll probably check it out after here.
But yeah, I mean,
I do like the Allied Forces. Is that for the, I like that. You said that's Allied Forces?
Yeah, that's their next album. That album was really good. But this album has In the Night. It has Hard Road, which I could really relate to while I was watching this movie because it was a goddamn hard road to get through.
It was.
Tear the Roof Off, Finger Talking. Finger Talking is like a class. So almost every Triumph album also has like a classical guitar piece in it because their guitar player Phil Emmett was like a really I don't know if he was classically trained, but he was into classical music, so he played classical guitar, and he'd do a little classical guitar piece in every like album. So it was kind of like a novelty type thing, that made them different than other bands of the time. But there were a lot of bands later that would kind of emulate their style. But Triumph is like Rick Emmett and Triumph is kind of like a band that kind of stood out for their day, which is why I want to talk about them. And I don't know if we get another chance to talk about Triumph. So I want to take a chance to tell the people about Triumph and their Progressions of Power album, which is definitely worth listening to if you have a chance to.
Yeah, everybody go check it out. Even we can't check it out on here. At least give you guys good old recommendations.
Yeah.
To listen to after you're done hearing our sweet voices on here. And by the way, we will play some at the end of the show. Now, we will only play the music on if you listen through us through the
podcast.
The podcast.
Audio.
The audio style, like, on Apple, Spotify, whatever y'all listen to on audio, you can only hear the music on there. If you watch anything on YouTube or the videos, guess what? They don't like that copyright stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't either.
YouTube are like really bitches about that.
Yeah, bro.
We don't get shit from anybody else but YouTube.
God, even our first video, right? I put like just the trailer in there. Copyright. Yep. I was like, oh, fuck. So now I got to figure out how to do that. The trailer all different.
So we can't even play the trailer.
Can't even play the trailer, man. I was like, come on.
Don't we have some kind of like creative, like critic type thing where you can use like a certain amount of something? Like, surely to God, I can play a fucking trailer, right?
I think I could play the audio or something. I don't know. I'll have to play around with it. So,
cheers, YouTube.
And to be honest with you, I don't even think fucking this movie even has a trailer. Okay.
I would be surprised if it did.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a trailer for it on YouTube to show it to people, and like I couldn't
Yeah.
find it.
Yeah. I was like, it might be hidden on there somewhere. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe.
But everybody, let's keep this vampire night stalking train rolling with who booked this shit. All right.
Other than me, who did book this shit?
Yes. Yes. Other than you, who gave the recommendation of booking
this
shit
is my fault.
It's all your fault, brother. Let me scoop myself over here. All right. So let me see if I can find this director's name on here. There's like very little known about this fucking movie.
Right.
All right. So it was directed by looks like a Dominick Paris.
Yep.
All right. And let's see what he's done.
Not much. I was trying to look him up last night. He's done a lot of producing of movies.
Yeah.
In fact, he's producing a movie right now.
Yeah.
But he didn't direct a lot of movies, and when the people watch this, they'll realize why he didn't direct a lot of movies. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, he does The Way It Goes, did that in 2022, Splits, 1982, and Dead Bloom.
Dead Bloom.
Some of the stuff that he's done on there that I can find really quick. It's also written, it was actually written by him too. So he not only directed this stuff, but he also wrote some shit on here too. And it looks like it was also written by Ben Dule.
Yes.
Which
and he's he also produced Son of Bigfoot, which sounds fantastic. Apparently he does a lot of animated movies now. I think he's just like a guy that works in Hollywood at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. He's the one that it's like the AI ain't taking my job, brother.
No. He directed this.
Here we are. I come out with great storylines. Like, what would happen if we have vampires work at a funeral home?
Like the concept of this movie is fine. It's the execution that's bad.
And so I think they're also doing that thing where like everything was supposed to be at night, but it all looked like daytime because they were too cheap to use filters that look like nighttime.
Right. So I thought that too. Like it looked like it was supposed to be shot day for night, but they didn't forget the day for night parts. It would just look like day.
Yeah.
The whole time, the whole movie. Because I couldn't figure out why these vampires could be out in the daylight.
Well,
it's because they can't afford the filter.
Unless we miss something, you know what I mean? Like unless those vampires that have the day jobs, maybe they have some sort of special magic powers where they can walk during the daytime. But if they turn somebody into a vampire with that stake in them, maybe they get on the sun. I don't know. That wasn't really explained, but that's the only way I can see it. It's like maybe we have it wrong, everybody. Maybe if you're a vampire, maybe you'll get special privileges if you have a day job. You know what I mean?
It's like being in prison. You can be out for work release.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe the lore of the vamp, that's what they were missing, brother, the day job.
I'm pretty sure that you've thought more about this movie than the people who made it.
Do you think they pay taxes and shit?
Vampires?
Yeah.
Why would they? Taxes on what? What income do
they these have? Guys probably did. They had a 401k probably in this.
Yeah, maybe they were racking it in with the.
That sheriff probably had a good pension on there, brother.
Oh, the sheriff probably paid taxes. Yeah, the sheriff vampire did, but everybody else was just, I guess. Well, maybe who knows? Maybe they were, raking it in with that funeral home money.
Probably saved money on the food bill.
Well, yeah, true. Cheers.
So the film is known in English language speaking markets has both either Last Rites or Dracula's Last Rites. Now I'm not, so maybe Alison, you can explain to me why did we even put Dracula's name on here when there's no actual Dracula?
There's no Dracula in this movie. Although we did have the card, which is Dracula backwards.
Oh, there you go. Maybe was he the main I guess he was the main vampire guy, even though him, the sheriff, didn't really get along that well.
Right. Yeah. So the thing about it reminds me of in Son of Dracula, Dracula masquerades under a different name, and he's known as the Alucard, which is Dracula backwards. Because who could possibly figure out that he was Dracula if you spelled his name backwards?
Exactly.
Or like in the Ed Wood movie, where he was got Bela Lugosi, and he had Bela Lugosi play Dr. Acula.
Yes.
So it's kind of like that. This reminded me of an Ed Wood movie, but not nearly as good.
Exactly.
But yeah, we have Lucard.
Yeah, the Card brother. Well, maybe Alucard was trademarked from Castlevania.
Probably, yeah, probably.
You know what I mean, brother?
Oh,
well, actually, no. Yeah. No. Castlevania probably was coming out
After
around this time.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, Alucard came from Son of Dracula, but they used that in Castlevania, I guess. Alucard.
So check this one out right here.
Yeah.
This is some marketing genius over here that these two writers did on here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the name of the funeral home.
Yes.
Okay. That the undertakers and companies were they were in.
Mm-hmm.
It was called the A. Lacard Funeral Home.
Yeah. Alucard. Dracula backwards.
But to not get sued, we did an A. period.
Yeah, of course. That's what you got to do, man. That's how you got to figure out. They keep people from figuring out that you're Dracula. But I couldn't figure out why Dracula was balding. Like, Dracula's supposed to be suave and debonair. He's not supposed to be balding.
Well, these are this is the 9 to 5 Dracula.
I guess so.
So, you know, when you actually have a corporate job, it just wears on your body, brother.
It does. It does.
You only have to have that. They got to find that virgin blood that they weren't getting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you gotta have that to keep from turning old.
Yeah, brother. So I thought this was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe you can explain this one to me.
I probably.
So according to the Motion Picture and Television Development Commission of the state of New Jersey, this movie was one of 4 films produced on location in this American state at the time. As reported in the April 4th, 1979 issue of Showbiz Trader paper Variety. Right. So I guess at this time, I guess it was very rare for the state of New Jersey to get any kind of films or anything like that.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Like, what are the other movies that were shot in New Jersey at this time?
It doesn't really give me the list. I guess I got to go find this newspaper or shit on there, but yeah, this is one of the 4 of them that happened, and which is weird though, because I pay attention to the dialogue. Okay. So I swear the guys were saying hey, that Ted guy, he might drive off to Salem. And I'm not an expert with a map, but I'm pretty sure New Jersey and Salem are pretty far away.
They're pretty far away. Yeah, they're several hours away. Yeah,
might be a long train ride for that one.
Yeah, I mean, Vineland it was filmed in Vineland, New Jersey, which is I believe in northern New Jersey.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So apparently, they're on the credits, it does give a lot of thanks, and I can appreciate this part. So they thank the city of Vineland, sorry. Sure. They thank, and I'll get to my favorite one in a second. They thank Chevrolet, which is one of the cars.
Right.
They thank Linachuk Auto. I guess that's where they got the cars from.
Maybe.
They thank the President Motor Lodge. Okay. They thank the Tri-City Alignment. They thank Vineland's Volunteer Rescue, which I guess that was for the fire or something. I'm not sure what they did on there. They thank Williams Auto Parts. And then my favorite on here, which this has to be a first and on only, or a film that's shown in theaters, thanks Holiday Inn.
Well, you got to have a place to stay when you're making your movie.
I thought that was, I was like,
thanks to Holiday Inn.
Thanks, Holiday. Imagine you're out there watching that new Nosferatu movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thanks Holiday Inn at the end of it.
Get all that nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Orlok on there showing off his Orlok pecker.
Right.
Getting it on with the world. And at the end, we see, thanks, Holiday Inn. We appreciate you for having our vampire stay here. Okay.
That's fantastic.
For the filming of this show. Okay.
I mean, I can tell you that the clothes that were used in Nosferatu cost more than this entire movie. I can guarantee you.
Yeah, pretty much. I can't, this movie is like a mystery too, because, I was trying to like look for more information on it, but I could only find on an IMDb page. And I couldn't even find like a Wikipedia. I couldn't find
No,
anything about this
it's
fucking shit. Not
it's
even
like
AI knows about this shit.
no, it's like another unknown movie that we're doing, like that
Yeah.
nobody's ever seen. Like we may be the only people that ever talked about this movie.
And like the weird thing too is like, you know how like when you rent shit off like Prime, like every
Yeah,
once in a while they'll give you like trivia on there.
yeah,
This shit, all it had was the cast.
yeah. No
That's all we
trivia.
have.
Like we don't know shit about this movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's like other like, reviews that did it, I guess, on here. I mean, we might be like one of the only ones that do it. I'm pretty sure other people have done reviews on this thing before too, but maybe they're stuck like we were, unless we're like maybe we don't know the last rights page. That's
Maybe,
our problem.
maybe it's like a thing. So speaking of
Yeah.
reviews, so I did notice on IMDb the
Yeah.
reviews on this are really interesting because if you click on reviews, you can filter out user ratings.
Yeah.
So it got a 3.7 out of 10, which I found fucking astounding. Um,
From who?
but
Who is this
well,
fake audience?
so here's
On
the
this?
thing. So 18% of the people who've reviewed it gave it a 1.
Do we have some dialogue of what they said or no? Like why they
I
like
don't.
this so much?
Well, no, not really. Um, but this is the part I found most astounding. 5% or 10 people who reviewed this movie gave it a 10
Yeah.
out of 10.
Okay, I gotta read
There
one
are
of this.
10 people that thought this movie was perfect. I find that astounding.
Okay, I found some on here. I might read one.
Yeah, there's some reviews.
God damn, they're like fucking long as shit. Like this one's like fucking gave it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, and it's longer than a
And
goddamn
it's
movie.
like the fucking longer than the movie. What the hell? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. A Great Tale of Terror. This one's actually kind of short, so I can actually read it
Okay.
and not get bored of shit. Okay. This movie has a great storyline. Oh, thanks. It also has great acting. What the? Were we watching the fucking wrong movie? Okay,
Maybe
hold
they
on.
were watching the
Who
Last
is
Rites that
this?
you sent me.
It also has great special effects. What the what special effects? There is zero. This is a sequel to Dracula. Say what now? Oh, is this? I think this person like found the wrong movie.
They found the
Okay,
wrong
and
movie.
then they just put the review on there. It is also one of the scariest movies ever made. This is not a 3.8. This movie is a great movie. This is a great movie. I give it 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. If this movie does not scare you, then no movies will. Dracula 1931 is better, but still, this is a great movie. Dracula 1992 is also better. Nosferatu 1992 is also better. Well, which one is it not better as?
Like
But
all
st-
movies are better than this.
but still, this is a very scary movie. A lot better than that crap Blood of Dracula, which is definitely wrong. This one movie you do not want to miss. More people need to see this movie. It's a classic horror film. I need more lines, and I'm running out of things to say. Brother Jacob, something whatever, who wrote this thing, brother, you are every filmmaker's dream come true. You will buy any piece of shit that somebody throws at you, brother. Okay. Hey, guess what? I got a couple movies I made. Can you just give them 10 stars, brother? Okay.
My favorite part is like the feature review is called "Not One of the Better Vampire Films Out There," and like no shit,
Yeah.
you know. Say, and the last paragraph of the review says, for example, having Gerald Fielding play the part of Dracula was rather odd to say the least. He just didn't fit that particular role. Likewise, the low budget special effects and action scenes were equally bad. In short, this is clearly not one of the better vampire films out there, and I have rated it accordingly below average. It's fucking crazy. Like the reviews of this are more entertaining than the goddamn movie.
And I think like the big thing is like some of these reviews that like actually like watched the movie like we did and not are not like AI generated good reviews is like there
Yeah.
was no fucking Dracula in here unless you count like Lucard, and he was the
Lucard.
worst
He's a
Dracula
Lucard.
ever.
He is the worst Dracula ever. Like a Lucard. Oh my god. Like it's crazy.
All right, before we get into I gotta read this one.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, just because of I gotta see what it's all about. This review. It says the horrible truth about funeral homes. Oh boy, here we go. As suspected, the funeral home industry is just a front for bloodthirsty vampires. Yeah, this guy thinks it's a documentary. Okay, this fucking movie. It says Last Rites is the video proof. In a small rural town, the Undertakers are actually henchmen seeking out the nearly dead from accident scenes, and then taking them to the parlor to exonerate by their thirsty master. This works like a charm, including traditional methods for eliminating the newly undead. Oh, trouble brews when a woman decides to, well, then it gets into the movie. It says, while somewhat clunky and dated, this movie gets extra points for originality.
Really?
If you're tired of the same old vampire tales, then this could be a refreshing option for you.
I guess.
So this person on here thought this movie was a shoot, brother.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess they thought it was like a fucking documentary about vampires in the funeral home business. Holy shit. Man. Here we go.
That's what people, you know, I kind of like this segment. We might do this for some movies coming on forward. Read the fan reviews of them.
It's fantastic. It's amazing.
I was like, Meryl, you know, I like the concept of this film, but like, bro, this was hitting on everything. Like it missed on like a ton of stuff.
It missed on every cylinder.
Because I just thought it was boring and it didn't really have any charm to it.
No, what it reminded me of actually was a Phantasm, but way worse. Like Phantasm is a good movie. This is not a good movie. Like this is like, but it had this feel of Phantasm.
Yeah.
You made Phantasm didn't know how to make a movie.
Yeah.
So it's astounding. Like this thing's fucking astounding. I knew it was going to be bad when I went to Amazon to buy it, and it didn't even have a movie poster. It just said Dracula's Last Rites.
It's like some stock footage. Like
it had a stock
some tree or whatever.
Or something. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, this is going to be shit. And I wasn't wrong.
I wasn't wrong, brother. But anyway, enough talking about loving it and everything. Let's break down Dracula's Last Rites.
Yeah, this should take about 10 minutes, but okay, here we go. I'm pretty sure that movie poster has nothing to do with this movie.
Well, it's the fucking it's the Vamp Mom.
Is it?
I think so.
Oh wow, maybe.
I mean, wait. Is it? Hold on, let me look up the picture over here. I mean, kind of. I mean, I can't. It doesn't really tell you if it's like. I mean, it kind of looks like the vamp old lady, I guess. Or actually, you know, it kind of looks like that Maria girl, but we never saw her turn into a vampire. I have no idea.
Right.
Maybe this is like the alternate version that's hidden in the archives that we can't see.
Maybe.
So.
All right. Anyway, let's go.
Let's get into it. All right, so everybody, we start off the movie, and I'm talking about, like, listen, I do not mind 80s grainy movies, but, like, the whole thing, like, if you literally, like, you know, rent this shit, you know what I mean? Like, it looked like they could not adjust this camera. They just could not figure it out how to get this shit not blurry.
No, I'm not sure.
The movie was blurry.
Yeah, I'm not sure they even knew how to run a camera.
Okay, we've done, like, a shit ton of, like, 80s films, right?
Oh, of course. That's what we do.
And like, well, I mean, like 1980.
Oh, okay? Right. Yeah.
Like actually in the year 1980, which is most of them are probably like filmed or being developed in the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck were they doing?
So here's the problem, though, with us and in movies from 1980, is that just about, I can't even think of one that's not, but I would say just about every movie that we've done from 1980 has been a fucking classic.
Yeah,
And then
really
we
good.
did this.
And we did this shit.
Yeah, and then
Came out of nowhere.
we did this one.
There might be some other ones we didn't hit on as much, but I mean, this one was just fucking like it just. Yeah, like I said, the concept was good, but just the plot was boring.
Yeah,
So,
the story was bad, the execution was bad, but the concept was good.
so we start off with some guys driving some cool cars.
Yeah, that was the best part of the movie.
So I'm pretty sure. Listen, I'm not like a car guy. You know what I mean? Like I wish I had my boy on here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He would know about all these cars and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me all the miles and years and everything. But I'm pretty sure one was a Mustang and one was like a Corvette. Pretty sure. No.
I think one was a
Cobra?
Challenger.
Challenger.
I think one might be a Challenger, and I'm not sure what the other one was.
So it was a Corvette. I mean, it had the style body of a Corvette.
Actually, you're right. One was a Corvette, and one was like a.
Could have been a Cobra.
Well, Cobra would have been a. I don't think it was a Cobra.
I'm not sure.
If it had to be a Chevy.
So it was the one. So I think they named this guy Buddy. Okay. Or no. Bobby.
Bobby, yeah.
This guy looked like he was like John Travolta's brother.
He did. Yeah. This guy, had he been able to act, would have been a big star in Hollywood.
Exactly. He reminded me of two people. First, he reminded me of John Travolta's brother.
Yeah.
And then have you ever seen American Horror Story 1980?
Is that the one where they're at the camp?
Yeah, the camp one. Yeah,
I started watching that, but I don't really remember much about it.
It was the guy who played the serial killer, son of Sam.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this guy looked like him too.
I got you.
I don't know the guy's name. It just came out top of my head.
Right.
So he's talking with this girl. The girl has some like wild hair. Like, you know how you have like makeup and hair stuff for movies? Like, not this movie. They didn't give a fuck. They just came as they are.
They were dressed, right.
Yeah, show up there and see what happens. Okay. So he's talking with this girl. Like, apparently he has to do something, and like his pride's on the line and shit like that. You know what I mean? He was kind of like, this character was like Marty McFly. You know what I mean? You can't call him Chicken Brother.
Okay. All right? I see that,
yeah. He's going to be pissed. So he's acting like he's doing something that so needs to be done for the town. And all it was some fucking dirt racing.
Well, yeah, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about his pride's on the line because he can't back down from this dirt race.
But he acted like, oh, the town, you know, I got to do it for the town, brother.
Right, because the other guy, it's like his town pride. You gotta win the road race with the other.
Was he? Which part was he? Which part was he representing? The
representing Vineland,
Vineland,
Jersey. I guess.
Are we sure this is in? Okay, I know it's filmed in New Jersey, but the fucking guy said they're going to Salem. So is it? Are we sure we're not in Boston? Because nobody had like a really Boston accent on here.
No, they didn't, and New Jersey doesn't really look like Boston. But I mean, that's never stopped people before. So, you know, whatever.
Well, you know, why can't it just be an Italian film where everything just takes place in New York or Chicago?
Exactly. Like, that's why the Italians make the best movies, because it's just so much easier to do it. But I mean, you know, you as you know, filming low budget movies, you film a movie wherever you are.
Yeah.
You know, so that's like, true. You know, if you film a movie in your backyard, you know, it's like about witches or whatever. And now all of a sudden, hey, we're in Salem, even though, you know, Salem doesn't look like anything like where you live.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's just how they should.
Yeah, you're in Alabama.
Yeah.
All right. So we have this Dubrow guy shows up. Pretty sure he was in a Corvette. Yeah. He basically calls a guy a pussy without really saying he's a pussy.
All right.
So then they start doing some racing, dirt racing.
Mm-hmm.
So the Dubrow kind of runs the guy off the trail.
Yep.
The girl that his girlfriend, I believe her name was like Phyllis or something like that, or Phyllis. Sure. She's pleading with him to stop it. You know, you don't need to do this and stuff. This is getting out of control.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, his very like John Travolta style voice. Fucking shut up. You can get out of here.
Shut up.
This guy's gonna eat gravity.
That's great. Eat gravity.
I'm gonna have to use that one. You know what I mean?
You're gonna eat gravity.
You're gonna eat some gravity, brother. It's not gonna taste good.
Yeah.
So of course, I mean, everybody can see this coming from a mile away. He runs off the road and he crashes. All right, the dude bro comes out with his trick. The girl's all freaking out, and then of course we get police. So we have this at nighttime, even though we can barely see anything.
Yeah, because it was actually filmed at nighttime. We can't see shit now because they couldn't afford lights either.
So we can film this at nighttime. These bodies dying, but those vampires, brother. We have to pretend that's nighttime.
Well, they probably filmed this first, and they're like, those scenes we shot at nighttime, we can't see shit on this, so we're gonna have to film during the daytime from now on.
Imagine they had to do it over again.
Because not only could they not afford filters, they can't afford lights either.
You know what would have been a good question on here that I need to ask this Paris dude.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they got paid from New York. No, not New York, New Jersey to make this shit. I mean, fuck, what a fucking steal.
No, if they did, they'd have more money than this. One thing I liked about this scene too is it never really shows the car after they wrecked, so you can tell that they didn't own the cars, so they raised the cars and returned them, so they didn't show no wrecked cars because they can't afford to wreck this fucking car.
Well, the body shop needs that back, brother. Okay,
yeah, dealership's gotta have it back by 5.
So basically, like, this is when we see like it's basically like a ring. Okay, we have a ambulance driver who's in on it. We have a sheriff who's in on it. We have a town doctor who's in on it, and we have a funeral director who's in on it. And I know 3 of them are vampires, but I don't believe that the ambulance driver was a vampire. Or like there's like another helper guy. I don't believe they were like vampires, but like the sheriff and the doctor and the Lacard obviously is the vampire group. Okay, so they basically take the dead girl Phyllis or whatever her name was to the hospital. They saying like, okay, she's getting prepared and ready. The boy is dead. Okay, and then at first I thought these two, Sheriff and Lacard. By the way, Sheriff was never named. He just named Sheriff, which I can appreciate because I like it when they do that. He doesn't need a name. He just be known as the Sheriff.
He's the Sheriff, yeah.
At first, the Sheriff, I was like, is that Mr. Bean? Holy shit.
Oh, wow.
What's he doing on this movie? Remember Mr. Bean?
Yeah, like they could afford Mr. Bean. That guy did kind of look like Mr. Bean, though.
So then the Mr. Bean, aka the sheriff, starts biting on the girl's neck. And then they stake her. Okay? Because we'll find out later, every time, apparently these vampires, they can drain all the blood out. But if they don't stake their victims, the victims automatically turn into vampires. Like, how like most vampire films you watch, like you have to like drink the vampire's blood in order to first they drain you of all the human blood. Right. Then they have to have you drink their blood to get the vampire blood in you. That's how you turn to vampires. Not this one, brother. These are 9 to 5 vampires, brother. They have special tricks. They could just bite somebody and they automatically turn them.
Well, yeah. Like so I mean, that is kind of like a vampire thing, like in some, stories, like the vampire bites you and you become a vampire. But in these people, like they consume their blood, but they don't want any of these other people to become vampires. So they like stake them.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is weird.
So,
but okay.
So now, they kill the girl and then they stake her. Then they start dressing her up for the funeral home. And the only thing I could notice is it looks like they were putting peanut butter near her titty. So
I was going to ask you about this. Like, what the fuck kind of makeup was this?
That was peanut butter titty makeup.
It literally looked like peanut butter. Like, I don't even know what this was supposed to be. I don't even know what we were supposed to be seeing. It literally looked like they were just putting peanut butter on her tits.
Well, I have no idea. Bro, listen, man. These funeral guys, they have, like we said in that review, brother, they're a different culture out there. Okay.
Apparently so.
Okay. So now they're going over. They're gonna need some more bodies, all right? And they'll go over some more details of that tomorrow. So now tomorrow comes really quickly. All right, and we see Maria. She is with her mom, and she comes in. Okay, this is a little strange too. This is very small town stuff right here. Right. So Maria comes in. The mom's there, and she's dead. And we have 2 of those vampires there. Okay, we actually have Lacard and the doctor. His name is Cummings. Okay, And back in the day, which they probably still kind of do this, even though they probably do more like virtual stuff now, is you could actually have a in-house doctor. Like most of the doctors will actually come to your house. Okay.
Okay.
So I guess the old lady was already the Maria's mom was already in bad health. So she would have the doctor come by a lot. And it just so happened while the doctor was here that the mom passed away, which they think might be a stroke.
Maybe.
Not sure yet. But obviously they were probably there because that was their doing. They needed supplies quickly. The doctor knew that Maria's mom was about to die, so they probably injected her with some sort of vampire poison.
Sure.
Which is also another thing too. I think I am thinking about too much of this movie.
Yes.
So if we're giving humans deadly poisons to kill them, I guess that doesn't affect vampire stuff.
I guess not.
I guess they're not. Their system's a lot different than ours.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the vampires can filter out the the issues with the
deadly
right.
human-made killing machines.
Yeah, they can
fumes.
they can filter that out.
So now they obviously Maria's super upset. Her mom's died and everything. They think it might have been a stroke. And then now Lacar wants her to sign some paperwork so he can go take her back to the funeral and get her all set up for the funeral. Yeah. And she, of course, Maria, under stress, she agrees.
Right.
They thanks him, and he's happy to help, and they leave with the dead mother. So now, and he apologizes and everything, and obviously giving his regards. So now we have the husband shows up, brother, Ted. The hero of all people, the hero of our story. He's up home. This guy was kind of a weird guy too. So the husband Ted is now there. He's all upset. Obviously he sees Maria's upset and everything. And we see that Maria and them they're kind of like soaping. They're kind of like talking on the couch and stuff where the mom passed away at. And I did appreciate. Did you see that 80s blanket that they had?
I thought that was great. Yeah, I noticed that too.
We need more of that in movies. You know what I mean?
I know they need to
get me one of those.
Blanket back.
I know. So they talk about her mom and like how she like loved to stay in this room. That was like her passion. To stay. You hiding or something? What are you doing?
I'm good.
Oh, okay. I was like, we trying to come over here, brother? I got a vampire brother right behind me. It's ready to go at any moment. All right. I come prepared, brother.
Yeah.
All right. So so they're going over the whole gist of this is they have now decided that they want to have the wake, the funeral in this living room because the mom loved it so much.
Sure.
So Ted, he's right away. He's like, so like this guy Ted, he agreed that it was his kind of idea. I think he was just trying to save some money because he seemed like one of them cheapskates.
I mean, maybe he was. My great uncle actually, we had his wake in his house.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's a common thing,
which is terrifying, but yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we're just like hanging around this dead body all night long. It was fucking weird, but anyway.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you don't have to go out and do all funeral and stuff like that. It'd probably save you $1 here or $2.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
And like, valid reasons. So apparently, I don't know if this is true because, I'm not like Mr. like medical guy over here. Yeah, so Ted calls up and he talks to the car saying, hey, can we cancel the whole wake thing stuff? I need the body back over here. The car's like, man, she signed a paper and everything, brother. Like, that's like all legal shit right now. And Ted's like, no, it's not. Just send her back. And he's like, I can't really do that right now. There's like a couple, she signed the waiver. There's legal stuff going on here. She signed the papers and everything. We can't just take the mom out of here. It's like, well, I'm going to come back there tomorrow and we'll figure this out and stuff with the state laws and everything. Okay. So, obviously, listen. There's probably is there state laws like that? No, I don't think so.
Well, there are definitely laws against like what you can do with dead bodies, but yeah, I don't think that you have to go to a funeral home or funeral parlor or whatever. But I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to like register something with like the state if you're going to be having something in like like a the funeral at the house or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's as hardcore as you think it is. So,
no, definitely not. Like one of my neighbors is actually buried in his yard. So
yeah. So I think there's like, as long as you get like past them, it's fine and stuff. There's no like law that says you have to have it done by like a funeral person or anything like that. So basically, like Ted's like, oh, don't worry about this stuff. I'll figure this all out. You look tired. I think you need to go sit down. That's a common thing with this Ted guy. He always wants Maria to go to sleep.
Just sit down. Just calm down. Just sit down, Maria. Just
like, you look tired. Get on out of here.
Yep.
Okay. And he's like, there's no problem over here. Ted is basically saying like, oh yeah, these Lacard guys and stuff. He basically just wants some fucking money. Okay. So now we see the mom's dead body. Okay. And then we get a close up and there's some bite marks on her.
Uh-oh.
All right. So then now we have in the morning time, Ted meets with Lacard. All right. He is there and Ted, he basically wants the body back. He's like, I'm going to go room by room. Because, like, he's asking for Lacard, but Lacard's not there. He's like, well, I'm going to go room by room to find this body. It's like, you can't really do all that. Some of the helpers try to stop him. He's like, I'm here to take the, I'm here to take the body. I'm going to take it regardless. And he's like, I'm going to take this body and you can just bill me for the casket.
Right.
All right. So now, I guess there's like a driver. Maybe Ted hired some casket driver or something. And this casket driver is telling Lacard, like, yeah, he's telling Ted. The casket guy is telling Ted like how shady Lacard is. You know what I mean? Like, he's always like ambulance chasing. He always like, he just has some weird practices and stuff. So that's the first. Yeah, he's always looking for dead car crashes and everything. And he's all saying like, yeah, they want to keep him here for state law. And the guy in the car was like, I don't know if the state law works like that. So you might need to look into that.
Yeah, maybe.
And then the guy said, and then Ted was kind of blowing it out, saying like, yeah. I mean, it was probably some technical thing. And the Lacard guy, he's probably just looking for some cash. Like, you know what I mean? So. And then like he does go on saying like, Maria's mom and stuff was getting looked at by the doctor and everything. And she was kind of already in the loop of like, having Lacard there and everything because she was in poor health for a while. So now they get the body there. Both Ted and Maria look at the dead body. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And now Lacard wants to meet Ted now because he wants the body back. Okay. And he's like, we haven't finished the embalming process yet. And I need the body back now. And Ted refuses. And he says, I don't want to make this a legal matter, but if I have to, I will. Mm-hmm. He says, well, I will give you this body. You just got to come back with some legal action.
Right.
Okay. So basically, obviously Lacard wants the body because he drained the body already, but he didn't get to stake her yet and put peanut butter in it.
Exactly. Right.
The process, brother. We got to go through it. So now Ted is not starting to trust him too much at all. Because like he's starting to question what the driver said. You know what I mean? Like this weird practices that Lacard does and, going into legal action for something like this. And he's like telling Maria that. I was like, yeah, he has like different style practices. And he's like, oh, maybe it'll be okay if I just send him a check. Maybe he'll leave us alone.
Maybe.
So now Lacard tells his crew that they need her back tonight. Okay, we need to stake her tonight, and he doesn't care who does it. Okay. So now we have we get a lot of these too. So if y'all want to start drinking, like if there is the slowest, there's like the slowest. Yeah, that's true. You already started. I will be next week, brother. I'm gonna get back on that train. People like it when I drink on here. I get extra amped.
Oh yeah. Do we get kudos for when you drink? We get better reviews.
Well, unless they go off the rails like our Halloween episode does most of the time, because I get like too drunk.
Yeah, Night of the Demon was fucking crazy. That
one, yeah. And then we did Trick or Treat.
That was also good too. Yeah,
I can't wait to do that on the video. That's gonna be fun.
Those Halloween episodes are fucking nuts. Like we're always going nuts on those. Like it's just
anyway. We'll get back on.
Halloween's coming again this year.
That's gonna be big this year. We told you all there's gonna be some big stuff happening. A bunch of blood.
Yeah.
Now you can see us drink in person.
I know, on video.
Fucking crazy. So, like I said, we got these slow shots of like scenery at nighttime. But like, we can't have the vampires at nighttime. We gotta have the scenery at nighttime. Yep. So basically, there's like this dude. I guess he was one of the helpers. Tries to break into Ted and Maria's house. Ted finds the guy, fights with him a little bit, throws him out a window, and the guy lands on the fence. Basically stabs himself.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when we meet the sheriff again. Sheriff comes in there talking to Maria and Ted, but like, he's all like, you're like this one, Alison. He's all like, maybe it's a drifter, looking for some of those radios.
Radios?
Yeah, radios, brother. He's sneaking into your house to steal that 1980s radio, brother. You can only get that that's the limited pre-conditioned Sony radio.
Yeah.
That the 80s can make, brother. That this drifter guy was trying to take, according to Sheriff. Okay?
Wow.
I thought that was pretty hilarious.
That's great.
So basically they're just going over it, and then like now Ted's starting to realize, like, because cops asking, like, what do you think's going on here? It's like, I kind of have a figure of what's happening over here, but I'm not exactly sure yet. That's what Ted was basically talking about. So, okay. And this is also too, this is when we kind of find out more that the sheriff and Lecard they're basically in cahoots because they're both vampires and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So now after all this happens, that we got all that on there. I do like this part. So after he tells them, like, maybe it's a drifter looking for some radio or something, the cop leaves and everything. And Ted and Maria go back to bed. All right. And they're sleeping. And then we hear some 1980s Halloween stock music.
I know. That was great.
With like the howling.
That's so
the wolf
good.
Howling.
It sounded like a what are those? Like a Halloween sound record. Like you used to could buy. It sounds like a Halloween sound record that you're supposed to play at your Halloween party. It sounded exactly like that.
I had me one of those when I was a kid.
They're so cool.
Of course, it was a 90s version one. But because you play it, right? And it usually starts off with that heartbeat.
Right.
And then it'll go into like some more like the howling and stuff. So that's what this reminded me of, because they kind of have like a little heartbeat and then it goes into the howling. I was like, yeah, brother, I can dig that. And then of course, what do we see? We see one of the stars of the movie. Because
stars, quote unquote.
Because Vamp Mom has awoken.
Yeah. It's the only she's coming out of her little coffin.
Yes.
And it's the only one thing I noticed is it's the only pair of fangs in this entire movie. They could afford one pair of fangs. It was
the other guys had fangs.
Oh, that's true. They did. Right.
Hers was just like a little bit more like noticeable.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The way she looked and everything. But yeah, the sheriff, Lecard, and the doctor both had fangs. Okay. But they would only really use their fangs when they're about to like bite. So if you kind of blinked, you would only see them with like blood in their mouth.
Right.
So now she's awoken and she looks around. Then we have more shots. This time in the morning, and guess what? It was only for maybe like a minute or two, or maybe even less, but it felt like 5 minutes. We got long shots of seeing cows and horses. Because we're in the country, brother.
We're in the country.
New Jersey. We're in the New Jersey country.
And then we get to see cows and horses to show us that we're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes. So now Maria wakes up. She goes to the casket room where the mom is at, opens it up. Nobody's there. And what does Marie do? She falls right down. She's in shock. Ted wakes her up. He's probably saying, you need to go back to sleep. But Ted wakes her up. He's he's going to send for the doctor now. And she's like, well, I don't want to see the doctor. It's like, no, don't worry about it. I'm going to get the doctor here. Like Ted's one of those husbands that doesn't take like no for an answer.
Right.
If it's his idea, like that's what we're doing. Okay. Okay. So now Ted basically says, "Oh, I got a strange feeling over here now. I'm gonna start doing some calls."
Yeah.
All right. And Ray's like, "What are you gonna call?" It's like, "The first guy I'm gonna do is the sheriff." So he calls the sheriff. All right. And says like, "Hey, I need to talk to you, sheriff. I think I might know who's doing all this stuff." And like, obviously Rhea's mom's body's missing. Okay. And then sheriff's like, "Okay, well, I could be there in a little while." Okay. Mm-hmm. So Ted's not going to wait for the sheriff. He knows who took this, the mom. Was obviously, he thinks it's Lecard. So he kisses her and he leaves. And then we get a long, then this, bro, this scene felt like it took like an hour. Okay. Yes. We get a long shot of a side of a house to creepy 70s music. And like, it was like the shot where like, it's kind of like, it's like we're going slowly in. We're going slowly. we're almost there, brother. Look at that paint job on there. Look at that.
We got to fill 85 minutes.
Fucking golly. So then after we get the side of the house, then we get the inside of the garage.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to see all the motorcycles.
Yes.
And then guess who's hanging out by the side of the house with the motorcycles? Vamp Mom.
Vamp Mom. Yeah, she spends a lot of this movie just kind of wandering around with her arms out and her fangs.
Pretty much. So now it's daytime and Ted is driving by a Pizza Hut.
Mm-hmm.
What did they were sponsoring this movie?
I bet not.
You know what I mean? Go see some Last Rites, get you a double dish.
Yeah, and then eat at Pizza Hut afterwards.
A deep dish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With all the toppings.
Yeah, man, I love the pan pizza.
Do you think Ted puts pineapple on his pizza?
Probably. That's annoying. Fucking pineapple.
He looks like the type. He looks like the type. Us talking about what he does is like more interesting than the whole plot.
Mm.
All right, so basically, Ted is on his way to the funeral parlor, which the funeral parlor, like, it's like a mansion. I mean, these guys rank in the money, brother. This is like the Bel Air house.
Very big place.
All right. So Ted is now confronting Lecard. Lecard basically denies all the claims that he took the body and everything.
Right.
And Ted, wants to, get this. Ted pretty much is certain that he's take the body and send somebody to go, take the body basically.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And then like he's like, basically the Lecard trying to say like, okay, well, if you want to get the cops in here, I'll talk to you with the cops in here, but we can do that part peaceably. So now Lecard tells the sheriff, all right, hey, he's on to us.
Oh no.
He knows
He's got to figure out that we're vampires.
This fucking Ted guy. All right.
Fucking Ted.
Take care of him, sheriff. So sheriff, his way of taking care of him is this. He goes and checks the house with Ted and Marie there. Ted says he thinks Lecard has something to do with this.
Yeah.
Sheriff asks, like, well, why do you think that? He's like, well, it's because, that Lecard guy, he actually threatened me with some legal action, but he never did the action.
No.
All right.
What does that mean? That he has maybe he has no leg to stand on in the court system for this. So sheriff now thinks, well, that's kind of far-fetched, don't you think? No kidding.
Maria, go get some tea.
Yep.
All right, so now Ted's like, okay, well, can I just like, maybe look around his place to see if he took the body there or something like that? And Sheriff's like, okay, we can't really do that, but I'll go do that. I'll go check on this place. Don't worry about it. And then, of course, Lecard said this too to Ted, but like, the sheriff was like, you ever thought this might just be a little prank?
Yeah, huh? Just a joke.
Hoodlums out there. You know what I mean? And Ted's like, it's funny. Lecard said the same thing.
Weird.
Are you guys in cahoots? Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So now, so now basically the sheriff said, I'm going to go look around. And then we get a shot of him going back to his office and going to sleep. So obviously he's not going to be looking around. Okay. So now we have more with the barn and the Vamp Mom. She's back hanging around the barn. Now the sheriff wakes up now. All right. And during all this stuff, we actually have another body that got ran over. Yeah. And the doctor and all this stuff, they're in the ambulance and they're bringing that body back. The doctor injects this almost dead body to make it dead.
Right.
So, the vampires can feed. All right. So now, once they get the body back into their laboratory, kind of like where they put all the bodies.
Right.
Lecard basically wants to drink this body, and the sheriff also wants to drink this body, and they basically get into a little bit of argument where the sheriff and the Lecard are not agreeing. So Lecard is basically blaming everybody, saying, "Hey, she has awoken," meaning the vamp.
Oh, right.
Okay. And now they're all like pissy, like, "Oh fuck, I was doing my job and shit, brother. What about you?" And then we can see the sheriff and Lecard are like strapping a little bit, and eventually Lecard tells them all straight, and he's like, "That body right there belongs to me," and they all kind of agree. So now we have the Vamp Mom. She is now walking out at nighttime. We're back with Ted and Maria. Guess what? Ted, he's forcing Maria to sleep again.
No shit.
This guy's kind of controlling a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
He's all like, "Hey, don't worry about it. If you can't sleep, guess what? I'll call the fucking doctor and make sure you sleep, bitch."
Yeah, we'll just give you some medication.
Yeah. He's like making sure this girl is going to go to sleep. I mean, she literally just passed out like a day ago, and now you want her to sleep more.
Right.
Okay? Just sleeping all the time. Says something about this Ted guy. I didn't really trust him about the whole film. All right, so now he calls the doctor saying, "Hey, his wife needs some check on to sleep." So, this is also too, we see Cummins, the doctor. Right. He hears about that. Maria needs some help and stuff. He's like, "Cancel all my appointments. I'll head over there." I like this one. So the Vamp Mom, she's walking around at nighttime, right? All right. She's walking.
Quote, unquote, nighttime.
Nighttime. Well, no, when we saw her, it was kind of nighttime.
Oh, that was true. It did kind of look dark.
It's just the other guys
like wandering around. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was like apparently like that's what my theory was. Like I said, all the 9 to 5 vampires, they can go outside and do whatever because they have jobs. But she didn't have a job. She was just a regular turned vampire, so she hasn't developed the 9 to 5 skill yet. So now she's walking around and she sees some fat kid with a bicycle. They stare at each other. Mm-hmm. He gets a little freaked out and she just walks away. The most fucking useless scene I've ever seen. All right. So now we have the doctor Cummings showing up to the house to give Marie some doctor attention. So he just comes in the house because Ted already knows he's coming. He gets into the house. He goes all. Maria is already sleeping, but we have to give her some sleeping medication, even though she's already sleeping. Okay,
we have to have more sleeping medication.
So, what was the problem here? So the doctor was here because she couldn't sleep, even though when he showed up, she was already sleeping.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I guess they forgot about that part when they booked it. All right. So Cummins comes in there. He injects her with some, the vampire serum or whatever.
Right.
And then she wakes up for a second, then goes back to sleep, and then he bites her neck.
Yep.
And then he drains the blood. Okay. So now we see some shots of the city, and then we're back at the laboratory. Okay. And so now they're there, and then now the ambulance guy who's in on the scheme, he calls them and says, "Hey, I found the Vamp Mom. She's at a shoelace factory."
A shoelace factory.
Yeah, brother. That's a high-paying job, brother.
It's so specific. It's just so strangely specific that it's
is that the old shoelace factory, brother? Okay, you got the nicest shoelaces you can get.
So good.
Okay. So now Lecard and all them leave, and Ted follows. Then we get a long scene of the Vamp Mom choking the driver, the ambulance driver.
Right.
And like it took forever to get to this point. Like it's literally just her walking. Oh, here he is. I'm gonna choke him. I'm not really gonna eat him.
Okay. I feel like it's been 85 years at this point since we started this movie.
So Lecard's face is dry. Yeah. Apparently he has like some dry face problem. So now, go ahead.
Like the stuff he was putting on his face?
Yeah.
I thought that was like maybe something to protect him from the sunlight because he's a vampire.
Oh, okay. So they have vampire Twilight makeup.
Maybe, yeah. That's what I was thinking because they were like because he hands it to the other vampire and I assumed he put it on. But yeah, but he's already out in the sun in the car before he's putting it on. So I'm not really sure how this is supposed to work. But other than that, I have no idea what this is supposed to be if it's not supposed to protect him from the sun.
There you go. Maybe I missed that.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't the 9 to maybe the 9 to 5 job. It comes with some Twilight powder makeup.
Yeah, well, we never saw it before this moment in the movie, but he is putting something on his face, which I assume protect him from the sun. I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Makes sense to me. So they go out there, and of course Ted follows them because Ted is a detective now.
Right.
All right, so he follows them out there. Now they're in the sunlight and everything. They stop by the old shoelace factory. The car gets out, runs past the fucking ambulance dead body. Ted gets out. The fucking mom vamp is there. She smiles on him. Ted's like, nope, this ain't for me, brother. Gets right back in the car. He didn't say anything. Like he was like, oh shit. Oh fuck, she's alive. Oh my gosh. Nope, getting out of here, brother. Fuck all this. So then Cummings and Lecard hold Vamp Mom down, and she gets destroyed by the sun while they, have a nice little tan.
Right.
So then Ted tries to drive away and he tries to run over Lecard, but guess what? He can't.
Nope.
Okay. And by the way, it's Lecard and yeah. So like he can't be, and then because he has a vampire strength. Okay. Mm-hmm. So now we have a big car chasing scene with Lecard and one of his minions. Okay. One of the funeral home guys that was helping him. And eventually Ted wiggles him off the car.
So good.
Lecard comes back to the laboratory. He sees the sheriff trying to bite that body. And Lecard comes in saying, get away from that body. It's mine. All right. Mm-hmm. I told you that boy was mine. And then they start doing a vamp fight.
Yes.
Which I actually thought this part is probably my favorite part of the movie. Yeah, was their vamp fight.
This was the best part of the movie.
My favorite part,
other than the cars at the beginning, this was the best part of the movie.
My favorite part was like when like the sheriff was doing like the slaps. I could do that because we're on video now. He's like,
right. That's so good. It's fantastic. The vamp fight. Oh my god.
The vamp slaps. So eventually Lecard gets the upper hand and he stakes him. Was that? I think he staked them with some fire. Was that some fireplace weapons?
I don't know. Like it looked like some kind of poker. Yeah. Like he was stabbed him with some kind of poker. So yeah, which I guess kills vampires.
Well, hold on. The golden poker that he stabbed him with didn't do the job, so he had to go get a knife and stab him twice.
Yeah, exactly.
So he killed the sheriff. So now he's coming to. Now they talk to Cummins. Okay, Lecard does. Mm-hmm. And he was saying like Cummins like, oh shit, like I showed up to like Maria's house and I bit her and everything. Mm-hmm. So I just left her there. And Lecard's like, what the fuck, you left her there? Did you even stake her and everything?
We're supposed to stake her, man, because she's gonna come back as a vampire. If we don't need more vampires.
He's like, oh, I forgot. It's all good. So then, so now he's like, okay, we got to get to the house before Ted does, or he'll be on to us. And I'm just like, brother, I think he's already on to you.
Okay? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ted's figured it out. As dumb as he is, he's already figured this shit out, that you're vampires.
Yes. So he's all like, he's like, we gotta get the wife. All right. Before you fool, he does. So Ted goes in there. He starts looking for Marie, and he's trying to look for her body. All right. And he sees her dead. So he found out. So basically Ted got there first and he found the dead Marie's body. The car shows up. All right. There's like nobody there now. Cummings says like, This is when I swear the doctor comes saying like, "Oh, they must be going near Salem." I'm like, wait a minute. Are we in like
Salem,
New Jersey? Yeah, Salem, New Jersey, bro. Is that where the Jersey Shore is? In Salem, New Jersey, brother. Okay.
Yeah, that's the situation.
So then we have another car chase. The car gets pushed off the road. Then he gets back on the road. At least the point of that. Okay, so now this is when basically Ted gets away, and then the car then comes around the car, and like, where is he going? And it comes like, oh, I'm not too sure. He's all like, we have to find him by tonight. All right, we don't have time for this, Cummings. And the Cummings like, oh, I got it. He must have wrote down his hometown in the book because Cummings is the doctor of everybody. So obviously in your registration card, you would write down where your birthplace and everything like that.
Right.
So that's what they're going to go find now.
And so Cummings going to say Transylvania.
Yeah. Oh my God, that'd be awesome. So I wish it did. That would have gave this movie some life at least.
That would have been.
They didn't even tell us. They don't even tell us where the fucking guy.
No, we could have made this movie better. If we remade this movie, it would be so much better.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So Cummings is now positive that he definitely wrote it in his book.
Right.
All right. So now I put in my notes, Ted gets his child house ready like Home Alone, but it actually was just his car. I guess he put like gasoline in the car, one car, with Maria's dead body in there. Okay. So now, now Lecard and Cummings, they go back to the funeral home because that's where we keep all the they go back to the laboratory. That's where we keep all the records and stuff.
Yeah.
They find his address super easy, and this dialogue was like hilarious to me. Lecard's like, we have to finish it, if you know what I'm saying. And then Cummings like, yeah, I know what you're saying.
I know what you mean.
Like, we have to do that. We got to do what we got to do. I was like, you guys been killing people all the fucking movie. Why do you have to tell us you're killing people? Okay. So now Lecard and Cummings, they have arrived at Ted's family-owned house. And God, this is like the easiest killing scene I've ever seen in a fucking movie ever. Yeah. Ever. I mean, ever. Every fucking movie I've ever seen with Dracula's or Vamp, this is the easiest kill I've ever seen in my life. Okay? So they arrive at this guy's house out there in the woods or the fucking desert, whatever the hell it was. They're like, oh, there's his car. Okay. Oh, let's look around his car. There can't be any traps here.
No, how could there be?
We've only lived for 1,100 years.
Yeah.
There's no traps here.
No.
So they look in the car. They see dead Maria. Like, oh, that's so weird. And then Lecard sees like the little like flash, bulb. And then he's all like, oh shit. So then, I know y'all listening to us on the podcast. They can't hear us, but I'm going to show it on video. The car explodes.
Explodes, quote unquote. Yes.
Okay.
It was great. They can't afford it. Dude, they can't afford explosions in this fucking movie. They do the best they can. And I respect that.
This was like, it was an explosion, right? But the car is fine. And fire just came out the doors onto the vampires itself. So somehow Ted has learned how to. Ted did what our boy at the beginning wanted to do. He wanted to eat these guys some gravity.
Yeah.
Okay. Like it's like an explosion, but the fire only got onto the vampires and the car was fine. And then Ted just comes up there, stakes one of them, and then Lecard, the biggest pussy vampire I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be Dracula or whatever. Starts crying like a little bitch.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dracula doesn't cry.
The fuck? And then he stakes his ass. And then Ted walks off like it's the walking tall. And then we get a whole fucking thing. Then we get some some wrapping up dialogue on there. Or like text. I should say text.
On the screen, yeah.
It says Ted Fonda, that's his last name, was found guilty in court of law. Why the fuck did he even go to the court of this shit anyway?
Because I guess they arrested him for stabbing all these people.
Like, why did you even okay, hold on a second. Like, if I was out there, like, okay, first of all, okay, let's break this down a little bit, everybody.
All right.
So Ted killed Lacard and Cummings, okay? And the mom is dead. The Vamp Mom is dead, right?
Right.
The ambulance driver's dead.
Yeah.
And the helper's dead. And his wife's dead, okay? So why don't you just fake your death or whatever and get on out of there, brother? Why are you even going to the court of law?
Like, what do they think? Like, he just mass murdered all these people for some
pretty much
reason?
That's what it said. It basically said this Ted guy was found guilty of court of law on all 4 counts of first-degree murder. He was unable to convince the jury of any kind of vampire conspiracy. Well, no shit, asshole. All your fucking people are dead on there. You don't have no fucking witnesses. What did you think was going to happen? And then to this day, his wife has never been found.
Nope.
Yeah, because
she's still asleep.
She was the only vampire to survive the quote unquote blowing up car.
Right.
And she could just walk out freely.
Exactly.
Fuck, bro. This movie sucked. Okay?
This was terrible.
It didn't make any fucking sense. This Ted guy was an idiot. Hey, well, imagine that. Like, okay, I'm gonna go to the New Jersey cops. That's like maybe what, because we already killed the sheriff,
right?
So we had to go to the other town over. Hey guys, I have these 5 dead bodies over here that my fingerprints all over. Guess what, guys? Guess what? It was all vampires, brother.
They were all vampires. I killed all these vampires. Come and check it out.
Yeah, I killed them all, brother. You'll believe me, right? This is America. Okay, we can do things in America. We can kill vampires in America.
We can kill vampires in America. It's land of the free.
Then everybody's looking like, what a fucking idiot. Why are you even here, brother? Like, we're just going to arrest you and put you in jail.
Right.
Idiot.
There's no such thing as vampires.
Dracula's Last Rites. But you know, it's a 10 out of a 10, 9 out of a 10 movie. You know,
some people love this.
We have all these old vampires movies better than this one. But this is one of the greatest.
Yeah, I wish we could interview the guy who loved this movie. Like, why did you like this?
It's like, bro, that's the best $2 I've ever spent. All right. Like, how do you request a refund on Prime if this happens?
Like, if you get stuck, why was this not free? Like, why was this
I don't know either. Why the fuck is it not free?
Paid? Like, holy shit.
Golly. Well, anyway. Thanks everybody for joining us for another exciting edition of the Retro Blade.
It's got to get better from here, right?
As we talk more about vampire style movies here on the Retro Blood, and God, I hope it does get better. I'm pretty sure it will, because I actually have very high hopes. Well, I have really high hopes for the one that we're doing on at the end of the month.
Oh yeah.
But I guess let me pull up my notes right here.
Sorry.
Yeah, Near Dark. Near Dark is the one I'm looking towards.
Yeah, that's a good movie. That's a great film.
But the one we're doing next week is something that we did last year as well too. We're doing an anime.
We are.
Dracula.
Another anime. Yeah.
Another anime. Now I'm not sure if it's gonna be as good as Vampire Hunter D, because that's one of my favorite animes of all time. But this one does look pretty good because we have Dracula, Servant of the Damned.
Yeah. This is gonna be a good one.
Y'all can find that one on the YouTube. That's where we're gonna be watching it off. So come join us for that fun review. And I was like doing these animes, you know what I mean? Because I thought this Vampire Month, like we did last year, this one too, we're kind of like hitting all the aspects of different vampire style movies. You know what I mean? We had like a comedy one last week. We had a shitty story one. This one, or whatever the hell this was. Now we got anime.
This thing. Now we got anime next week. Yeah, this is gonna be great.
But yeah, everybody, thanks for all joining us. Like I said, you can all check us out, obviously here on YouTube, like on here, and subscribe to hear our sweet voices and see our sweet faces on here. Check us out on the Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky.
Blue Sky, yeah.
And we're all on there. You can find all the shows, and they all drop on there. And of course, if y'all have any kind of recommendation, retroblood69@gmail.com. Email us on there. Tell us how we're doing. Tell us if we suck. Tell us if you're one of those reviewers. We're saying like, yo, you guys fucking just ripped apart my favorite movie of all time.
Dracula's Last Rites.
Dracula's Last Rites, brother. How dare you assholes do that? So
those are my favorite when people tell us that.
Yeah, we have a couple fan requested movies in the archives. They're coming pretty soon. So everybody who sent us some stuff on there, they're coming pretty soon. What we're doing is we're trying to like theme out months over here.
Yeah.
So if there's a theme that we do and one of your movies is on there, we'll shout you out on the show on here. So, but Alison, for all of our podcast listeners, what kind of songs are we gonna be playing for them today?
Man, we're gonna play a Triumph song on the way out of here. Let's play Hard Road, because watching this movie was a hard motherfucking road.
It was a hard road. That was hard. Now, actually, we got out a little easy compared to Ted, because we know when to leave the scene, okay, and not talk about this shit again,
right?
Okay, and he doesn't. He's like, I'm getting my vampire conspiracy shit going, brother, even if it costs me my life.
I'm gonna go tell the cops I just killed 4 vampires, and they're not. Then of course they're gonna believe me.
He's like these reviewers. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna let my voice be known until I get my fucking point across. He's like, everybody's like, oh, we don't care. What are you talking about? Dracula's what?
What?
Okay.
What?
But everybody, thanks for joining us. J.H, Alison, James Kline. We'll see you all here next week on the Retro Blood.
See you guys.